Recording. Okay, man. I'm sitting here right now talking to a good buddy of mine over in Bentonville, and Dennis has been a client. What I think a couple of years. Is that right, Dennis? Something
Just
like
short
that.
of two, just short
Yeah,
of 2 years.
just short of 2 years. And so, what we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about your story, kind of how we got together, what's
Sure.
been going on over the past 18 months, something like that, and how the coaching has been impacting your company. But, Dennis, let's start out. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your company, where you guys are, what you do, and all that fun stuff.
Sure. I'm Dennis Kogan, and I'm team leader of a company that does business printing for a lot of the corporations in our area. Our name is Morpho Printing, and we have clients all over the world. We have some in China, some in England, some in Canada, large concentration here in Northwest Arkansas. And all our clients are business folks. We've been in business for 20 years, and the last 2 years have been skyrocket growth because
Wow.
before we just hit a plateau and just couldn't go any farther because we didn't have systems, weren't organized, we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, fantastic. So, tell me a little bit about when you were first thinking about coaching. What were some of the difficulties and struggles that you guys were having that made you think maybe I need some help here?
Well, we had receivables problems. We couldn't track our leads, and we just didn't track our leads. Weren't doing any advertising necessarily. We weren't organized with regard to recruiting and training. We had some turnover, and that was natural, but we just didn't have any processes or systems in place, and we were all so busy that we just didn't have time to get on it and get
Yeah.
organized. And we were still doing well and profitable, but we knew we could do more.
Fantastic. And how did you hear about the leadership initiative?
A business colleague referred me to you guys, and we came to one of your free 2-day business seminars over in Tulsa area near Jenks, Oklahoma. And we were stunned to meet 300 other business leaders from around the nation, folks from Canada, folks from Washington State, California, Colorado. We were commiserating with each other. And some of the speakers you lined up for us at the event, Clay, were folks like Dr. Zellner and Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad and Steve Currington from Cross Country Mortgage and Koloff Fitness, and these were all your success stories. But what shocked us was they were normal folks just like us. In many cases, we thought
They are
maybe
mere
we had a little more experience,
mortals.
maybe a little
Yeah.
more experience than they did, but they were doing it and they were growing like crazy. And one of the examples that just stunned us as one of your students, if you will, um, it was a lady from Arizona, from Tucson. She was a physical therapist doctor. She had 2 or 3 locations, and she got on board with you guys 5 or 6 years prior to that. And over a 5-year period, she grew to 8 locations. And then her goal was to sell the business to another company who could take it further. She was in her late 40s, early 50s, and she sold for $20 million. We were like, wow, she's just a normal, average person just doing business. And of course we ran into dozens of folks like that at the seminar who were just learning your processes and your techniques and your nothing secret, but they were just stunning to us. We said we got to get on board with this guy.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Dennis, you don't have to go into specific numbers, but talk to me a little bit about just how your revenues. I know that we've had a nice spike in revenues
Yeah,
since we've been doing the coaching.
yeah.
Talk a little bit about the revenue growth that you guys have experienced over the last 18 months, 2 years.
Sure. In 2023, we were struggling. Not, no systems in place, couldn't really grow, couldn't break out of the bubble. And then 2024 cash deposits, and that's what you've taught us, is what matters is what you put in the bank. It doesn't matter what you sell. If you collect the cash, you can't get the cash in, and you don't have a profit, and so on. So by using your systems, which are very logical and very straightforward, nothing fishy about them, our 2024 cash deposits were up 65% over 2023 for
Wow.
the 2 full fiscal years. And then year to date, 2025, we're up 26% over 2024, and 2024 was a huge growth year. Again, these are
Uh-huh.
cash deposits, so this is actual countable, spendable money.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you and Joan, your wife Joan, we meet every week, get together on the phone. It's a
Mhm.
it's a, a phone call that we do. Talk a
Yep.
little bit about what that is like. What is our weekly phone call like?
Well, we talk about our success stories for the prior week, which we have quite a few, and then we talk about what our numbers look like. And one of the problems we had before we met you was we didn't know what our numbers were. I mean, they were in QuickBooks, of course, but we couldn't run reports. We didn't know what we're looking at. We weren't educated. We just weren't knowledgeable. We were as dumb as rocks when it came to numbers. I was. Joan isn't, but I was. And so
Yeah,
by
yeah.
using by
You
putting
might not want
together
to speak for Joan on that.
putting putting together a little scoreboard that you help us set up in terms of here's our lead sources, here's our advertising dollars, here's our number of clicks, number of new customers, number of conversions, number of sales closed, dollars in, dollars out. We're actually watching expenses now we weren't before, and you're helping us with that. And so it's a scoreboard. It's kind of a dashboard, if you will. If you're
Yeah.
flying an airplane, you need to know what your altitude is. You're going up or going down. And so this is just a dashboard, so we can look at all of our scores for the week and keep track of it on a weekly basis, daily sometimes. But we had no idea these numbers existed before we met you.
Fantastic. You talked a little bit just as far as the revenue growth, okay? And one of the things I know we talked about was a practice that you guys had slipped into, which many business owners slide into, is doing the invoicing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when we first talked about, hey, what about moving away from the invoicing and actually getting paid for work when you do it? And talk a little bit about how you responded to that suggestion and kind of that process. And now that you guys are doing it, is that making a difference for you?
Huge difference. We were very resistant and very reluctant to actually ask for cash up front or a deposit. We would always invoice, and most of our clients are corporations, Fortune 500, Fortune 250s, and Coca-Cola's, Kraft Heinz, General Mills, large corporations who just don't pay in advance. But we started with your encouragement and your coaching, because that's what coaching is all about. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. Like a soccer team. Come on, get out there, kick the ball faster, harder, better. And so we started to ask folks, hey, we'll need a deposit on that job, or it's a custom job that's just for you, super secret proprietary job, and we're gonna need payment up front. And with only one exception, everyone said, okay, send me a link, I'll pay it. Credit card payments, and so we've stopped chasing our tail in terms of chasing receivables. We have no receivables now. I mean, a couple $100 here and there, which is nothing. But before, it was tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars all over the world. And chasing money in China is tough. So now we say, all right, you got to pay up front. When we get the payment, we'll start the job. Otherwise, give us a call later. And so we're polite about it, but we're very firm. And they say, okay, where's the link? And so it was just a breakthrough moment for us.
Fantastic. How has that influenced your cash flow on a daily basis?
My boss doesn't let me know what cash flow is because I'll spend it, but she says it's great. And so
yes.
It works well. And that is really because we don't have to chase dollars or worry about, oh my gosh, how we make payroll, because these folks are Fortune 500s and Fortune 100s and they're 90 days past due, which is always the case, right? They're always 90 days out.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other tools that we have implemented.
Sure.
I know that we've talked about time management and implementing your weekly routine and that daily steering wheel. Talk a little bit about how that is going with you and Joan.
It's going well. One of the things we used to do, and very typical of many business owners, is we would need to hire some folks, and we would throw an ad out, and we'd get 50 or 60 resumes. We'd spend 10, 15 minutes on every one of them, and we'd weed it down to 10 or 15 folks. We'd bring them in 1 hour at a time, waste an hour, so 10 or 12 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, we've wasted time interviewing people that are just duds. And that's okay. They're nice folks, but they're just not applicable to our role. And so you helped us flip that on its head in terms of time management. Now we do a weekly interview. It's a group interview. We invite everybody. Come on in, 5:30 on Tuesday, come on in. 4 or 5 folks show up. We spend 45 minutes, only 45 minutes. We get them talking. We'll invite one of those, maybe not even one, but we'll invite one of those back for a 4-hour session with us, actually working with our team hands-on. And that way our team gets a chance to interview them on the job, if you will. And we find out if they're legit. And so we've taken this 20, 30 hours a month of recruiting and narrowed it down to literally 90 minutes a week. And it works out great. So we have folks on the bench, just like a good soccer coach. You've always got people sitting on the bench in case someone breaks a leg, gets moved, gets pregnant, gets sick, someone passes away in the family, you lose your employee. You have someone on the bench you can call up and say, hey, come on over. Can you start in 2 weeks? And it works out great.
Fantastic, fantastic. And let's see. So we've got the group interview that you guys have been doing. We've got the no more invoicing, which we've
Mhm.
done,
Yeah.
and we've got your weekly routine that we put
Mhm.
in place. Let's talk a little bit more about kind of the marketing piece, okay, and making
Sure.
sure that your phone is ringing. Let's talk a
Sure.
little bit about some of the tools that we've given you guys to get the phone ringing.
Sure. I'm going to look over here at my scoreboard on the other screen and just tell you that last week alone, we had 186 clicks, resulted in 19 phone calls, 24 phone calls the week before, 29 phone calls the week before that. So we're tracking our lead sources. These are Google ads as well as um, ad roll. And so these are customized ads that appear to our target audience, which is defined by you guys, and you've helped us do that. And so we have tracking ads that follow people around if they search for printing, that it will follow them everywhere. They're annoying, but they work. And we track those leads, we track the sources, and we try to close sales. And when we started with you at the beginning, we were closing about 80 to 85, 90% of our sales. And you made us realize, hey, wait a minute, you're leaving money on the table. You shouldn't be closing 90% of your sales. Your prices are too low. Raise your prices. And we hemmed and hawed, and you finally convinced us that was the right thing to do. Now our closing ratio is down to about 65, 70%, which is a right balance because now we're making more money on fewer closes, but we're still closing a lot. And so it's working out. But we would never know that without tracking the numbers.
Yeah, fantastic. And then how about this? How about that wonderful thing called Google reviews? I
Oh,
don't know. I
yes.
don't know if I ever bring that up in our weekly phone
No,
call, but talk
it's
about
amazing.
Google reviews.
It's amazing. When I went to your seminar 2 years ago, and amongst 300 other business folks, you were on the dais that one day, and you said, "Hey, look, you got to ask for video reviews. You got to ask for them. If you don't ask, you're not going to get, right?" And we in the audience were like, "Oh, well, okay, how do we do that?" It's kind of a presumptuous, it's arrogant, it's self-centered. I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like I'm, asking for something. We don't bother my customers. And so and you said, "Hey, look, this works." And so that night at the hotel, before the next day, went back to the hotel. And I sent out 10 or 12 emails. I forget the number, 10 or 12 emails to my top clients and said, "Hey, would you leave me a Google review? Here's the link to do so." Came back the next morning for breakfast. You opened the session at 7 o'clock, and you said, "Anybody learn anything last night?" I said, "Yeah, I got 5 reviews." Came in overnight. I was stunned. We had never gotten reviews before that. And I know that when I look for a restaurant, my wife and I go looking for a restaurant, we always look at Google reviews. Everybody does. 4.7, 4.6, 4.5. We never go to the 3.0 restaurants because that's what Google reviews are for, to find the right places to shop and spend your money at without getting ripped off. So got those 5 Google reviews, and we were starting at like 6 or 7. That was 18 months ago. We're now just today we get 2 more reviews. We're at 327 reviews. They're all 5 stars, which is unheard of. Restaurants, you never see a 5-star restaurant, rarely. And so we're a 5-star business printer, and we get a ton of calls because people realize that social media presence or credibility um, lends credibility to the fact that, well, these guys have got 300 some odd reviews. They're all 5 stars. They're all business folks. I can't go wrong. And so we end up getting a lot of calls from people who say, "You're the first place I call because you have the best reviews." And we close the deal right there on the phone.
Wow. So, yeah, so thank you very much for taking some time. And so, what we've got here is over this last 18 months, we've been able to increase our number of leads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've been able to get to the point where we're not only getting leads, but we're able to close leads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're able to increase our revenue, which is
Mm-hmm.
tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as we are moving forward on down our linear path, some of our next steps that we're going to be tapping into is just continuing to scale the company
Yes.
using our systems. So,
Yes.
we've already talked about a handful of the systems that we've helped you put together, but are there any other systems? Like, has there been any scripts that we've written for you, or call
Yeah.
recording, or how to run a meeting, or how to
Well,
manage your people?
Clay, you taught us, you and your team, you've got a 20 people on your team there, 25, whatever the number is. You've given us several scripts and we've adapted them. For example, the script I'm going to show you here is version 18. We've gone through 18 versions of the script, and basically it's a phone script. Client calls in and we get their information, obviously. And how did you hear about us? We want to know the lead source. What's your email address? What company you with? What did you search for? How did you find us? What you're looking for
Yeah.
printing? You're looking for horseshoes? What you're looking for? And then we say, great. And this is the script. We literally read it. And when people hear this, and I'm going to say it right now, they go, oh, I've called the right place. We say, great. Just so you know, we're the highest rated and most reviewed business printer in the entire state of Arkansas. We do all kinds of graphic design and printing for business companies like Allstate Insurance, General Mills, City of Bentonville, Northwest Arkansas Community College, and Arkansas Tech University. We'd love to help you be successful in your printing. And they go, I'm not calling anybody else. It's great. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so it's literally just, we read it. And then we compensate our people on little merit increases. They earn more money every week by doing the script and by getting the Google leads and by getting the reviews and by closing things. And so by putting those systems in place, it's easy to close sales.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, again, hey, so Dennis, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, all right, let's say they're watching this and they're going, I need printing. I need to talk to Dennis. How does somebody reach out and get in touch with you?
Morphoprinting.com, M-O-R-P-H-O, morphoprinting.com. It's kind of a derivative of metamorphosis. Will turn your formerly poor printing project into something that actually helps you sell.
Ah, I see what you did there. I like it. Very good. Well, hey, Dennis, thank you so much. I sure appreciate it. And again, I always want to brag on you and Joan. You all do a wonderful job each week. You're very coachable. And even though things are difficult and you're kind of breaking out of some old molds,
Sure,
you guys
sure.
have been willing to take those steps that are having some big impact on your company. So I just want to let everybody know I'm proud of you.
And the other corollary there is the beatings have worked.
Yes, the beatings will contend and continue until morale changes.
Improves. Right.
So, all right, Dennis. Well, hey, bless you, man. Talk to you later. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Clay. Take care.
All right. Bye bye. All right, man.